Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. In this one, we'll talk about the things we all know and love, meds, because there's so many different kinds, there's so many different things you need to heal, and so we got to do some learning. Let's talk about it. I'd just like to take a moment and thank the sponsor of the channel, HelloFresh. Take your first step in your new health journey with HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a food delivery service that brings the freshest food right to your door. The ingredients are all natural and picked to meet your flavor preferences. We choose the fit and wholesome preference in my house and customize our proteins and sides to fit our dietary needs. These fast and easy meals are fantastic for the pickiest of eaters. My wife and two daughters love to go through the weekly menus and select our meals in our next box. Dragging two kids out of the house to the grocery store was the hardest chore of the week. Now our food choices get delivered directly to us with no stress on the girls. Not only do they get to pick out the meals, but they also love to cook them as well. We're teaching my eldest how to cook using our HelloFresh meals. If that doesn't tell you how easy they are to cook, then I don't know what will. Save up to $135 by using my link below and get 65% off and free shipping on your first box. Choose your dietary preferences and the number of meals you need for each week. Enter your information and choose from plenty of food options for your first box. Meal options are posted over a month out, so you can plan at your convenience. This is only good until January 9th, so take advantage of the easy way to start your family's health journey now and support the channel through our amazing sponsor, HelloFresh. Thank you again to HelloFresh for supporting the channel. Alright, just a reminder to everybody, I do stream on Twitch, so follow the links in the description below to find all of my social media accounts and my Twitch, so you can follow me over there and see this content live, especially coming up with the new .13 patch. Alright, with meds, there's a lot of different things that can happen to your character, so there's a lot of different types of meds that you need to keep track of and understand exactly what they do to help heal those different things that can happen. The first couple things that can happen, one, just HP loss, okay? So when you're dehydrated, when you're low on energy, you will just lose HP. It happens. You get shot, you're going to lose HP. So you need to make sure that you have some type of med kit on you, alright? Also, there's things like light bleeds and heavy bleeds. You're bleeding. A light bleed, you lose a little bit of health every minute or so. Heavy bleed, you lose more health over that period of time. So heavy bleeds are a lot more dangerous than light bleeds because they also leave a blood trail across the ground, so somebody can follow you, see where you're going if you're running around with a heavy bleed. They take different types of heals than a light bleed would. Fractures are another thing that can happen. You fall, you take fall damage, you take a certain type of rounds, have certain types of chances for you to get a fracture with that type of round. Fractures are devastating, especially when it comes to the legs, because it stops you from running. Broken leg, can't run. But that's also what painkillers are for. You'll see a lot of people pre-popping pain medication. That way they can keep running if they get shot in the leg. If their leg gets blacked out, which means it has no more health, or their leg gets broken somehow, they can keep running while under fire. Now, we're going to start with the easier stuff, so like the med kits that heal your HP, and then we're going to move to the specific meds that take care of specific issues. Now, when it comes to stims, we're not going to discuss every single stim in the game. Okay, you have all these different types of stims down here. That's for a whole nother video. So if you want to see that type of content or see that video, leave a comment down below and also like this one so I know that you guys are interested in seeing more about the medications that we use and the things that come out with the next upcoming patch. Certain med kits do certain things, okay? Luckily with these, you click on it, it's going to tell you how long to use it and different things that it does. Okay, so with this one, it removes radiation. There isn't radiation in the game yet, but it is planned moving forward. So make sure that once that gets added, whether it's with .13 or it's with something else, that we can keep these AI2s on us, because that's going to be a whole new experience when it comes to a raid. But then you move on to like the car med kit here. Stops light bleeds. All right, you move into here. Stops light bleeds, stops heavy bleeds. So the information's there so you know what you can bring in a raid with you. But if you don't like reading like I don't, we're going to go through all of these. All right. Your basic one, your AI2, is your like super basic. All right. We call it cheese. All right. It looks like a slice of cheese. So these are ones that you're going to start off with early game. They're going to be very accessible. You can get them from therapists early. So when you use this one, it is purely there at this point. Since radiation is not in the game, it is there to heal whatever portion that you've been shot, fall damage, whatever has happened. It's there to heal. It's a very quick use time of 2 seconds. So you get it out, you use it, you go, it gets put away. The car med kit is another really basic one. It doesn't do too much for you, but it does have a higher hit point there of 220. The first number is how much is in that specific med kit out of how much comes in each one. So as you use it, it will this left number will drain to show you how much it could have for being full. So car med kit does the same thing as the AI2 where it heals you, but it also stops light bleeds at a 50 HP cost. Okay, so that is a much bigger cost than something just healing your limb, but it'll stop that light bleed so you're not losing that health over time. Your next set, I kind of grouped all these together just because they all do the same thing. They heal light bleeds, heavy bleeds, and they heal your character. Okay. With these ones, you got to pay attention though, because the IFAK here, it's 210 HP to stop a heavy bleed. Whereas with the AFAK, it's 170. Okay, so the HP that gets taken from these is significantly different, because if you're looking at an IFAK where it's 210 is almost the whole thing, it's got 300 HP in that med pack. So that's almost your whole thing, just stopping a heavy bleed. Whereas 400 and 170, it's still a big chunk, but it's not as much. So keeping track of what types of bleeds you're using to heal and how that's going to affect each med pack that you bring with you is something that can really affect the rest of your raid, because you can run out of meds a lot faster if you're using the wrong type of med kits with things. So same with the Salua as well. Salua is a big early one, 400 HP, 175 for heavy bleeds, 45 for light bleeds. So all of these will heal that HP and stop that bleed, just at a significant cost to the overall HP of the medkit. As you use it more and more, those types of things take away, and eventually it'll just disappear because you've used the whole thing. Now, Grizzlies are a popular one to put into a gamma container if you have an EOD account, just because they do pretty much everything, right? So it's going to stop your light bleeds, stop your heavy bleeds, remove fractures, and also radiation exposure and contusions. So, and it's also a huge med kit. So 1800 HP out of 1800 HP is a lot, but you're at a 5-second use time. So it does take a little bit more time to use it than some of the other med kits like the AI2 where it's 2 seconds. That can mean the difference in life and death there, especially because these bigger medical kits with zippers, they make more noise. So if you're healing, somebody's gonna hear that zipper open, that means you just started that healing animation, and it's gonna take longer for you to get that med kit away when they're trying to push you around a corner. Now, when it comes to Grizzly, I don't take it into raid personally. What I do use it for is post-raid healing. So instead of spending rubles on therapists when it comes to like 13 to 15,000 rubles, depending on how messed up you are if you die, when you get a Grizzly, you just right-click and you heal all, and it'll heal everything in there. Grizzlies mid-wipe are available for like 30k, right? This is going to heal more than 3 raids worth of stuff. So instead of spending that money on therapists, maybe keeping a Grizzly or 2 in your stash to be able to heal all, it's going to save you rubles in the long term. That's how I personally use it, but I know some people that throw it in their gamma containers or their alpha containers and just keep it as a heal all, so they don't have to carry any meds on them that they can lose if they die in each raid. Now we're going to move on to some of our specialty healing items. So the first couple, we're going to bandages, right? Bandages heal light bleeds. They do not heal heavy bleeds. Same concept here. This one, 2 out of 2 HP. It's got 2 uses instead of 1 use, where this one only has a 1 use. But they're both 2-second use times. It heals that light bleed. You move on. Nothing crazy. You're not doing anything. It's not adding HP to your character. It's not healing any crazy radiation or contusions or anything like that. It is just taking care of that light bleed, and that is it. It saves you from having to use HP from some of your other med kits for healing that light bleed when you carry some bandages on you. Now that we've talked about light bleeds, we're going to talk about heavy bleeds. You've got a few different types of heavy bleeds healing here. All right, you have your Esmarch, your Cat Tourniquet, and your Hemostat. Your Esmarch is really your early game one. It's the one you can get earliest. I don't know if you can get the Cat super early, but this would be like a Peacekeeper item, where the Esmarch is a Therapist item. Now, the Esmarch uses a little bit more time, but you're not making as much noise as you would be with some of these other ones. The biggest thing with the heavy bleed healing and keeping these on you is because you saw that how much that affected that IFAK. So if you're carrying an IFAK, you're going to use 210 HP if you're healing a heavy bleed. If you have one of these on, you don't have to worry about that. They are all one-slot items, which is nice, so they're not taking up too much room. I throw a Hemostat if I can into my Gamma. If not, I'm carrying an Esmarch or a Cat on me, and I hotkey them. So that way they're easy to use. Moving on down to painkillers. All right, there's a few different types of painkillers. Your early game is going to be these just basic painkillers, 4 out of 4 uses. Now, these remove hydration. You got to be careful with some of these painkillers because they do have some negative effects. But it's going to remove pain for a duration of 80 seconds. It's a 3 second use time, and you got 4 uses out of it. It's definitely your early game one. You're not using this as much later in the game, but 19 hydration is a big deal. You're not just running out popping these every chance you possibly can. So be careful when using these because next thing you know, you're now in extra pain and you're losing health because you're dehydrated. So now to move on with some of the more endgame painkillers. The first one we're going to talk about is Golden Star. It was one of the most popular ones for a long time, but it does have a longer use time of 7 seconds. You're taking that 19 energy hit, but it does make up for it. It does give you a little bit of hydration, a little bit of energy and a little bit of hydration for 5 seconds. So that just adds 1, right? But it's not going to recover that full 19 that you're taking. Now, it did get a debuff recently with the contusion. Now, the contusion happens for 5 seconds. You get a nice little squeal, and then your screen gets all wonky. So if you are trying to enter a fight using this, you're going to have to take those few extra seconds, get your situation going, and make sure that you are in better shape before you just turn the corner when you start using this. Now, moving on to some of the other ones here with ibuprofen and Vaseline. The use time is less than the Golden Star, and you are not getting those weird debuffs. Now, you're going to get a much longer use time out of some of these as well. So 280 seconds for your ibuprofen, 300 seconds for your Vaseline. You're taking a hit in both of these, though. Like I said, these are more end-game painkillers, so your metabolism's a lot better. You're not, every time you use these, you can recover a little bit better, and you're not completely draining yourself at the beginning of a raid because you're using these. 9 energy and 9 hydration on the Vaseline, and 17 hydration on the ibuprofen. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Like I said, more endgame painkillers here. They have more uses. They take up 1 slot. I don't think I've ever been through a full ibuprofen without pulling it out of my gamma and losing it because I die, because I find something more valuable or whatever. But 15 uses on the ibuprofen is a heck of a lot of uses, and then 6 is even a lot for the Vaseline. In the category of painkillers, you do have stims. Now, I'm not going to go super deep into the stims like I said in the intro, or like I said earlier, but we're going to talk about some of the more common ones. So your morphine is just a painkiller. It's a 2-second use time. You are going to take an energy and hydration hit, but it is removing pain for 300 seconds. So solid 5 minutes without feeling pain. So if you're running a long distance or running across a field where you might get shot at and shot in the leg, you can continue to run if that leg gets blacked out or if you break it or something. So, but that is about as simple as stims get. Is inject it, you got a painkiller for 5 minutes. Moving on to Propofol. Propofol is one of the most popular stims of the game. It has a use time of 2 seconds. It removes pain for 240 seconds, so 4 minutes, removes contusion, but you get a health generation from this. So it's going to regenerate your health for 5 minutes. It does it over time. You'll see it down at the bottom right-hand corner, say health regeneration plus whatever after a certain amount of time, and it gives you that health experience as well. Now it's also adding to your metabolism, your health, and vitality, so leveling up those skills as well for those 5 minutes, just being able to make your character a little bit more resilient as you move on throughout the raids. Moving on to Zagustin, you can see in the name it's a hemostat, just like the hemostat from earlier for the heavy bleeds. You get a use time of 2 seconds, stop light bleeds and heavy bleeds for 180 seconds. So if you get in a fight and you've got like 3 bleeds and a heavy bleed or something like that, you pop this, boom, gone. All the bleeds are gone. You don't have to worry about that, but it prevents those bleeds then for another 180 seconds, so another 3 minutes. You get a bleed, it's going to fix that for you. It's going to prevent it. So you don't have to worry about that if you're in those heavy fights, somebody using rip ammo or some higher damage ammo that's going to cause bleeds a little bit easier. You take this and you can fight them without having to worry about bleeding every 2 seconds. Moving on to the final stim we're going to talk about is the ETG. Now this is a big one that a lot of people use because it gives you a significant health regeneration over 60 seconds, gives you energy recovery over a period of time, increases that metabolism immunity skill, but it does take a hit to your energy recovery and increasing your endurance and health skills. But if you're really messed up and you need something to heal every single part of your body extremely quickly, you pop this and it'll heal everything. You don't have to worry about healing one limit at a time like you would with a med kit or anything like that. You pop this and you're healing everything over time. The last set of meds we're going to talk about today are the CMS kit and the Serve 12 kits. The CMS and Serve 12 kits are meant to keep you in the raid longer. When you get a limb blacked out, which means you lose all the health in it, and in the top left-hand corner of your screen, it's black, you can use one of these kits to bring that limb back. Like I said, they are made to keep you in the raid longer so you can get more fights, get those extra quests done, and get yourself to extract without having to limp all the way there because you ran out of painkillers. These are 100%. I keep one in my gamma at all times. Even if you have an alpha container, I suggest putting this CMS surgical kit in there just so you can bring those limbs back and use other meds to bring them back to full health so you can continue to run around and get more playtime. Those are all the big categories of meds within Tarkov. I hope that this helped. I hope this helped you identify the different types of injuries you can have and the things that you need to bring into raids so you can heal through them all and continue your raids and be successful and extract more often. If you guys like content like this, please leave a like and comment down below on things that you want to see. And thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.